Hello and welcome to this Bitcoin price analysis video on the 28th of March 2024. It's 3 minutes past 7 in Central European time. My name is David Thorne. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional trader. I'm literally just a guy sat in front of my TV screen, my monitor, looking at charts going up and down with regards to my own portfolio, where I am invested in Bitcoin and in other cryptocurrencies and also other stocks. But this video is all about just looking at the price movement, the price action of Bitcoin to try and think about where it possibly could be moving today, what indicators or it might be telling us, what things it might be telling us about the price. So with that said, before we move on to the price analysis, please remember I do this for free. It's my own time, and all I'm asking for you is to smash that like button. That is literally it. And if you want to add any comments or feedback in the comment section down below, obviously feel free, but I would really appreciate a like. That's it, or a dislike as well. I don't really care. Whichever way you want to give me feedback is your own personal opinion. If you don't want to, don't worry. I'm not going to be insulted by it. Let's just jump straight into the charts and have a look, shall we? So let's just quickly skip to the weekly one. We currently at the moment have a nice little green candle. But that doesn't really mean anything. You know, we're on Thursday right now, so we still have the bulk of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to go. It could move it anyway. So we're going to skip over that. The daily one, well, we can see the movement yesterday went up and went down, and it finally finished yesterday on a negative, as in going down, right? A sell-off. So we would kind of expect prices, I would assume, that the pattern seems to be that it likes to keep testing the tops and it likes to keep testing the bottoms. So let's make an assumption right now that today's prices want to test the tops and they want to test the bottoms. Just an assumption. That's our first hypothesis, that the market wants to test prices. Okay, so let's move into the 4 hour, and the red line here yesterday, these were the tops and the bottoms from the previous day, which they got tested and broken, right? So let's just remove them, shall we? So we've got now a new possible range from the top and the bottom. When we look at this, we see that we've got this downward movement, but we still have, as I've said in other videos, we still have this liquidity locked in here at the top, right? So we know there is strong selling here, but if someone's selling, I'm not going to go into this too deep in it. If someone's selling, someone's got to be buying. So we know there are lots of transactions going here, and there are literally an equal amount of people buying and selling, enough to push this price up or to keep this price down here and so on. So when there were lots of people selling, there were lots of people on the other end buying, okay? But overall the price went down, so the more people were selling and the less, so more people were buying down here again, right, where this wick was. So we know there's some kind of support here, right, some kind of support here, because we know that the price got stopped and went back up again, and then we can see again the price went down and there was a little bit of support down here. But we saw then the price go back up again. So let's just remove this one, because we see the candle already. We know there is buying pressure here, and there was some form of support level. Now let's just have a look at what type of percentage it's come back to. So 50%, it's nearly come back down to 50% on this candle. So we know that half of this candle's liquidity has had some form of organization. It's been balanced at least a little bit. I mean, I would suggest that it comes down a little bit more to be truly balanced, because at the moment this red candle here hasn't been balanced, this green candle hasn't been balanced yet, and we need a little bit more balance in to say that the order book around this area has been nicely balanced. And then I would expect to see price movement possibly down to this one, to fill to balance the order book down here, and then it might come down to here. So we could expect lower prices today. I mean, that's kind of the logical part of it. Now, Bitcoin is completely illogical, completely irrational at the moment. So we would have to kind of say, well, okay, Bitcoin is irrational, is illogical right now. So let's look at more of what's illogical, irrational to do, because it's better to go with the market. You know, because the market is not the slave, right? The market is the master. And just because statistics say it should do something, the market is the master, not the slave. Okay, so we have to abide by the markets. At the moment, we know that there is strong buying power. We know that there are ETFs. We know there are people. We know there is lots of greed. We know all this stuff. So how can we use this information to our advantage? We should use logicalness. It should be logical to say this should go down, all right? But we see it's not. So let's not be a contrarian right now. Let's just go with the herd, because this is what we see is happening. There's a time and a place to change our opinion of being a contrarian, right? But our main idea is that the price should go down. And this is what I want you to keep in your head. We believe the price should do a correction of, say, like 40-50% to be healthy. However, the market's not healthy right now, and the market is the master, so we are going to respect it. We see right now some downward movement. So we see lower highs all the time, and we see lower lows. Now, this, if we don't see like bigger lower lows, we don't. When we see bigger lower lows, we know that the selling power is strengthening all the time and the buying power is weakening. But the movements, they don't seem to, the buying power seems to be just as strong as the selling power, but the trend at the moment is going down. However, we're starting to see this possible like catapult motion going up, and we are closing into the 7:30 mark in Germany, where the initial catapult start begins, the wind up begins. And this looks like a possible wind up right now. So I would expect, we see here, this is liquidity here, stuck here. So this zone here, and we're going to say this is like the weakest ever. It's like jumping into it's like jumping into a whole pile of cardboard boxes, you know. You're just going to go straight through. You'll be safe, but you go straight through. And I would imagine that this price is just going to zip straight through. It might come back, so let's say 50%. So I would assume, and I like to say assume again, I would like to assume that the price is going to come, let's draw a 50% line. I would assume that the price is going to come up to here and possibly up to the top, and then do a little bit of sideward motion down here across the rest of the day, you know, to fill that liquidity. And then we might see it come touch down to here and then go back up again. So, or it could come up to the lower 50% and then go around the lower 50%, and then later on at 3:30 or 2:30, sorry, it could then go out to higher prices. So that could be one scenario. Or 7:30 to 8 to 9 o'clock today, we could just see price go down, up, and then down a little bit, and then up again and out, and then just ride around here, and then come 2:30, 3 o'clock, we might see the prices come back down again, and it could go back up. So my idea really, and it's looking like it right now, is that. Now, let's have a think about stop losses hunting right now. So where would the traditional retail trader be trading right now? Okay, what would they be thinking? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no master trader here, but I like to understand how people think, and I like the psychology of it rather than just the jumping in. So let's say, for example, that you were shorting this and you were hoping for it to go down further prices. You want to get the higher price as possible, so you would short it there, right? And let's say, I'm not saying do this, let's say that this was your plan, right? So you're just going to slap that on there, and you're expecting for it to go down here, and you're going to say, I'll put my stop losses here, right? So let's just make arbitrary things up. So you've sold your Bitcoin here, right? You've put a short sell, so you've sold it. So it means up here, if you've got to get out at a loss, you've got to buy it back. So we're selling here, someone's got to be buying once again. So, but then there are other people who are expecting to have higher prices. So we've now got people who are thinking that it's going to go long, right? And expecting it to come up to here, and they're saying, I'm going to put my stop losses around about here. So now we've got buying action and selling action. So these people are so these people are buying from the people selling. So we should have like some form of equilibrium on this line here if the equal amount of people are buying and selling, and then the price will move nowhere. Okay. Now, if the people are selling here and no one is buying, right, then the price has got to come down here, right, which would mean that the short sellers have got it correct, because the prices will go down and get cheaper because no one is buying. So they are all assuming, no, we want to buy it cheaper, we want to buy it cheaper, we want to buy it cheaper, and it comes down to here, for example. So that would be the positive sign of a short sell here. Now let's look at the negative sign of a short sell. So let's say that no one, they're selling and no one is buying, right? So it means they have to sell higher prices. Sorry, let's think about it. They're trying to sell here, and the prices goes up. This means there's lots of demand, and it means that lots of people wanting to buy and not enough people are selling, right? Which is the reason why it's forcing the price up. So these short sellers, they got it wrong, the price wrong. The price, let's say, for example, should have been here. So they were assuming that not a lot of people were going to be buying there, and they were hoping that the people were wanting to be buying down here that will force the price down. But they actually got it wrong. The demand was higher than the supply, so it was pushing it up. So these now short sellers, they've got to get out of the market. They've got to take a loss, and they've got to start buying it back somewhere between here. Okay. Now, if they are buying it back, someone is selling it. So other short sellers up here who had the idea that it was going to be up here, they start selling to the people getting out their shorts. And this is the same thing on the other side. So you have to think to yourself, is where are the stop losses of these one people, and when is it going to break out? Because when is this like huge transaction going to take place? At the moment you see no volume here down the bottom on this candle. So the question is, let's come down to the 15-minute market and let's keep zooming in. Let's have another look. So we see very, very small movement, and we see that this candle closed, and are we going to see a second relatively bigger candle with low volume? The volume increased just a little bit, and are we going to see this? And I would assume that these two candles are super weak, so we should see just a pop straight through, I would say. So let's move down to the 5-minute candles here, and now we start seeing a possible resistance level here, because we saw prices hit here before. And let's just zoom into this and move it up to there, right? And I would go ahead also and put a little box here. I know it's green, doesn't matter what color it is. It's just me putting any box there, right? So don't think, oh, I should be buying there. No, it's just a color. And just for the sake of it being an arbitrary color, let's make it a lila color. Well, that's the border. Where's the border? Background. Yeah, okay. Let's just make it a lila color. My wife will like that. Okay, so let's zoom out again. Right, so we're saying that this is some form of resistance level here, and there's probably another resistance level here inside. So we're talking about. Did I just? That's better. We're talking about some resistance level here too, but we're starting to see that there is some form of selling pressure up here. We see the buying pressure, but we could say that there's some resistance here also. So do we think the price is going to pop through this? Well, this is going to be probably the harder zone here to go through. And once it does get through this, if it does get through this and it can break this, I would highly assume that it is going to absolutely fly through this zone here, right? And now if it does get rejected on this, we would expect, I'm guessing, to see lower prices down here, because its lower boundary here is like here, so it'd have to come up, snap back down again. Where have we seen that before? Look, we've seen it come up, snap back down again. And where are we going to get this up movement like this and then a snap downwards? This could just be a small playing around with us and then to come to lower prices. So it could be faking out, and this could just be all of the shorting people saying, I want to come down here, I want to get lower prices down here. Right? Let's call they, as in the institutions, maybe they want maybe it's their intention to get some buying power down here, ready for the move. Ready for the move upwards. Come, let's say 2:30 or something. So we need to be planned for both of these. Now, the other plan could just be that it goes sideways through this range until Sunday, and then on Monday we get a move. So this is what you've got to be expecting for. Some movement, probably in and out of this range, would be the probably the best plan here, that we'd expect it to go up and down. And if you're going to trade on a daily basis, you should have the idea that this, when you get up here, you would sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. But I wouldn't expect it to hit this bottom every single time. I'd expect it to come down and come to there and then come to there. So this, the selling as well, don't expect it to come back to the top every single time to hit that. That it'll always be teasing you. So expect that the second time it to come to here, and say the third time it come to here, and this is the same on the bottom as well. I'd expect like this, and then like this, and the range maybe slowly getting smaller all the time. And then where's Monday? Monday is Friday, so we could expect. This would be, I'd say, probably the best case scenario. Otherwise, it just goes bonkers, right? And it goes up. Where are we? Monday. So we could expect it to be around about here. It could go sideways to about here. Now, it could, like we said, go bonkers today and come up here and just smash through, and then tomorrow be the main thing. This could be the institutions could have been taking profits here, and they could have been putting some more longs in for the second quarter of the year to come up here. Now, we could see a big sell-off as well come tomorrow, down, the prices come down here or even lower, and that would be healthy. So don't get me wrong, I believe that we should come here. And if you haven't seen my other videos, this is for me the first point, the first zone that it has to come to for it to be healthy. And once it gets there, if it goes any lower, it's fine. It's fine. It will go back up again, but this is like a healthy zone here. And at the moment we're on unhealthy zone, but it's getting healthier. Look, you can see some form of selling pressure coming down, but it's whether or not this bonkersness, this banana-ness, or this craziness continues, which it's more than likely to continue. Now, yesterday I had some a limit sell order up here, and as it was pushing through, it sold some, which I'm quite happy with. And I've got another one at 68,000. This is my next small profit taking. Let's not call it selling moment, profit taking moment, up at 68,000, and then a little bit at 68,500 as well. And then I've got a whole bunch more up in the 70s, because if it goes there, then I'm in really good profit then. So I'm quite happy with taking some of that money out, and this money out here will be really good profit, and that will just sit ready for the future to go back in again. So this stuff here is just like small profits, you know what I mean? It's just to pay me, to say, hey, David, this is your work for today, and this is what I'm trying to do every single day, is pay myself at least enough money from Bitcoin for me sitting here doing these videos, doing this stuff. And yes, I am the money that I'm taking out at the moment in profits, I'm putting back in right now, full transparency. I'm putting back in at 40,000, right? So it means if I can just keep piling it up with small profits down here, if I need to take it out, then this is real worst case scenario that Bitcoin came down here, and I know I got it out, right? And it's in cash still. But if I decide to put it back into Bitcoin, I can. If I decide to take it out for other reasons, then I can as well. But every single day, if it goes up just a little bit, I'm trying to take out small profits, and just little every day. Nothing that's going to make nothing that's going to break the bank. But so I've already decided. So if this is my my Bitcoin wallet, right? This is where all of the stuff, my own wallet off an exchange. This is where everything's stored, all of my transactions, all the money, some big profits, some small profits, some whatever. And this stuff, I've got limits where when it reaches a certain level, amount of euros it's worth, I'm then happy to scoop off some of that profits here, and I send this money over to Coinbase, right? And this money at Coinbase is I then set limit orders, sell orders for small portions, super small portions. I cut it up into tiny little bits, right? Tiny little packets, and I sell these little packets off one at a time, right? And like I said, I put the packets back in one at a time when they're sold off at real lower prices. So this money here, it's still in Bitcoin, right? But as far as I'm concerned, it's profits, and I'm happy with how much Bitcoin I've got here. And if the prices do go up to say like the 80s to 90,000 euros, I will transfer more of that over to here to start selling it off. And if it goes, I mean, if it goes up to like 75,000, I will probably take a good portion of this out and put it back down here again. But then I will move some more of this over. So my intention with Bitcoin, so on my analysis here, this is what I'm thinking about, right? This is all of my thoughts, my chain of thoughts, and I have a plan. I'm not just randomly buying and selling Bitcoin, because at the moment I'm not on a buying mode whatsoever. I've been buying a couple of the I just call them shit coins at the moment and selling them off, because if I see a little bit of movement. If I see a little bit of movement and I'm like, okay, it's gone down and I'm expecting Bitcoin to go up today, so I just put it in and I sell it off just to build up a little bit more cash in the bank, in the Coinbase and so on. Just because, you know, if you know there's a possible trade coming in, if you see everything else going up and dumping down, then why not get into it? But only get into the real hyped ones. But I'm not going into these shit coins that are basically going up 1,500% in a day, because that's just a gamble, and there's 50% chance you'll lose your money as well. So I want to get into ones that are still got some stability, and they will go up, say 5%, down 5%. So even if I lose today, they might go back up tomorrow, and if it don't go back up tomorrow, they go back up on the weekend. So. But I'm taking small risk, but I'm expecting a reward as well. So anyway, with that said, I hope you've got something out of this video. We're now at 7:25. It doesn't look like it's got the power to go through at 7:30. It could be completely wrong. This candle here will tell us. And if you're interested to keep on watching, please keep on watching. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I'm not finishing the video here. I'm just saying thank you. All right. And thank you very much for watching my videos and supporting the videos. I hope you do get something out of it. But please remember, these are my videos, and I'm doing this as a log for myself for the future. So you should be doing your own. What I'm trying to say is that you're more than welcome to watch, obviously, but what I'm saying is you need to do your own due diligence on whether you do buy or sell something. And listening to me about what I'm doing is just one part of the table. You know what I mean? There needs to be, if you're making an analogy about, you know, setting the table for dinner, what I'm talking to you about right now is maybe one leg of the table. You still need the chairs, you still need the cutlery, you still need the plates, you need the food, you need the other people sat at the table. So you need the whole thing. All right. So just remember that I am only maybe the chair of the table. And there are a lot of other things that you need to listen to, and a lot of other people that you need to listen to before you can sit at the table and actually eat dinner. Okay, so this is really important. And there are lots of scaremongers out there that are trying to get you to sell because they want the price to go down, right? Because maybe they've done something wrong, they want to get out of a trade or something like that. Cryptocurrencies or money is always going to inflate, right? The price will always inflate by at least 2.5% every single year. So if you put your money in today, I wouldn't. There is a high chance that your money will be worth the same or more than 2.5% over the coming year. Now, if you wait a little bit longer till the euphoria dies down, the prices should come down by 50%, right? But if this euphoria just keeps continuing, it's said that this bull run should last another 12 months. So we're talking of no downside until 2025. Whether that's true or not, we'll only find out on January the 1st, 2025, okay? Because then the year is finished. But right now, it looks like we're in for a year of craziness. So, and 2020 was a year of craziness as well, even at a time where the world was not crazy. You know, it was doing some tragic things. So go with the market. The market is the master and it's not the slave. Okay, so if the market says we're going forwards, go forwards. If you want to fight against the market, you're going to lose. So there's always a time and a place for being contrarians. Contrarians should be at the top and contrarians should be at the bottom, all right? But whilst the herd is moving, go with the herd. Be one of them. Do not be the contrarian whilst the herd is moving, because they will just trample on you, all right? So right now, I am going with the herd. This is what I'm doing. I'm going with the herd, and I'm assuming it's going to go to higher prices, all right? And I'm not buying though. I'm going to be selling, because the people who make money on Bitcoin are not the ones that buy Bitcoin. All right, they are ones that take profits and they pay themselves. So if you do get into Bitcoin, remember, I need to get into a place, or you need to get into a place where you know that you can take profits. So buy low, sell high. Okay, and we're going to literally just give it another 50 seconds to see what happens up until 7:30. Then I will leave the rest to later on. And I'm going to make another video today, possibly talking about reasons why Bitcoin is or isn't the argument about whether Bitcoin is or isn't a store of value, because I think these questions are really important to be able, because if someone asks you, why do you get into Bitcoin? If you just say, oh, just because, you know, that's a really terrible answer. You need to be able to understand why you got into Bitcoin, what fundamentals does it have, what technicalities does it have, how is it going to help the world today, when is it going to be used by everyone, are there institutions coming in, are there any regulations, all of this stuff. If you can, and if someone says it's a bubble, right, then you can say, well, okay, it is likely a bubble, but it's the same, it's in a room of bubbles, of other bubbles, okay? So, you know, but if you're in a house of bubbles, then it's not a bubble anymore, because you are just a member of that one house. And at the moment in the world, there are a lot of bubbles. So it's just in that 10-year period, or let's say in the 20, 30-year period, we're in lots of bubbles. And someone said, oh, well, there's lots of people here that will profit from or benefit from another bubble, inside of a bubble, inside of another bubble. So is it a bubble if you're inside of a bubble? Who knows, you know? Anyway, it looks like it's happening. So on that note, enjoy this movement. We've talked about it already. Sit back, put your feet up, drink a coffee, and let's watch the rocket go off. All right, I'll see you later on this afternoon for my other video. Ciao, ciao, goodbye, and thank you very much for always watching. All right, bye.